right.
And you were working the search and rescue team there. What was that like?
You know, it's probably the biggest disaster we've seen on a scale. The size was 16 acres, and for them, it's the largest area they've ever had to search. We worked the night shift, but it was still about 80 degrees even at night when they were working. So they're having to negotiate these bent steel and concrete, collapsed 6 stories high in some areas, working through these damaged buildings that were still in some areas still on fire. And to watch these guys negotiate was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I noticed you have all this gear on. Explain to us what you're wearing here.
Yeah, we communicate with the dog several ways. One, hand signals, voice commands if they're close enough. Sometimes, though, they're far enough away they can't really hear us through all the machinery, so we use a whistle to communicate with them.
Okay.
We carry powder. That way we can tell which way the wind is blowing.
Oh.
We send the dog towards the wind where the scent will be carrying the human scent towards the dog to help them out.
So you just put it in your hand and toss it in the air.
Right, puff it and see which way the wind's blowing.
Wow.
We carry bowls for water so we can drink and give them breaks.
You like that? It says, don't fool me, Dad.
And we also carry leashes, so in case we're working in an area where we don't necessarily want him on his own, where it's a hazardous area, we may want to keep him on a long leash. We also carry the booties. Those are the little gloves for his feet, in case we're working in an environment where there's sharp glass, things that we don't want necessarily stepping in to keep his feet protected, because if he cuts himself, injures himself, then ultimately he has to take a break.
Okay.
Keep him working, keep him healthy.
Sure. Well, Duke, I appreciate your service, buddy. Huh? Hey, it was an honor to meet you guys.
You bet.
Okay, honor to meet you too, buddy. Gosh, thank you guys so much.
You bet.